Hi, this is Lady Lex UK and this is a Dreams tutorial. Today we are looking at level linking. Now for the launch they've made some changes to Dreams, which from early access means that my previous level linking tutorial now is out of date, so I have removed that from the playlist and made those videos private. So if you have any bookmarks or playlist links for that, you might want to remove those. Now in my previous tutorial I showed a method for two-way doors which involved variables and teleports. This is an interesting method that can give you a bit more variety and allow for some randomization, but is not the subscribed method for actually getting through a two-way door. So I'm not going to mention that in this tutorial. I'll probably make another one at a later date to show you that method. In this tutorial though, I'm going to be showing you how to place a doorway in a scene that activates a doorway gadget, and also how to link scenes together within a dream, and all the little things that you need to do to make sure that your dream is updated correctly so that you see the changes that you make. Right, so let's start off with our first scene. We're going to make a scene. We're going to make a couple of scenes. So here's our first scene. I'm going to put a player gadget in. There's our player gadget. And because I'm lazy, I'm going to put in a medium molecule door already made. Now, if you wanted to make your own door, make sure that you make it in two pieces and that the sculpts are separate sculpts. One for the door and one for the frame, and you'll probably want to do what Medium Molecule have done here, and that's hinge it with a connector. If I turn the connectors on, you'll see they've got a hinge here on the door to the frame, and they've also got an angle limiter on there so that the door doesn't go all the way around your frame. So it only go to the shut position, and it'll only go up to the open position like that. So be very careful when you're making your door that you don't make it in one piece, otherwise you won't be able to open it. Right, so they have some door logic in here which we are going to utilise. I'm going to tweak it a little bit. The basics of how I would have made a door are here, though they have made it in a slightly more over-engineered way. We have a complicated sound effects microchip here. This looks at the connector position and works out whether the door is opening or closing, then presents us with an alternative one or the other sound effect. This is slightly overkill for what most people are going to do when they make a door. A more simpler version of this would be just to put a sound effect of a door swinging in either direction and just wire from the detected on the trigger zone. But as this is already made, let's use it. The trigger zone itself, they've used a cylinder that's all the way around, including the sides of our door. I think I'm going to change this, so I'm going to go into trigger zone with L1 and square, and I'm going to change the zone to a cube and just take out the sides there, so you can't open the door if you're standing at the side of it, which I think is a little odd. So now you have to be standing in the front of the door. Right, there we go. Now the other thing that you've decided to have here is it's looking for any possessible controller, whether it's possessed or not. Now I'm surprised at this because my first instinct would be to have just possessed controller sensors opening doors, but so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set it so that it's only going to find my player. If you had this on and there was a controller sensor, a possessible controller sensor in something else, say a character you hadn't got controlled, and they walked in front of the door would open. That might not be what you want. In my game I don't, so I'm just going to put it back to just the possessed controller sensor, so it's just going to detect the player. Right, so let's see what it does. So I'm possessing my player, I come up to the door opens, I go through, the door closes. There we go, that's all it does. Pretty simple, and you can come at it from both angles. There we go. They've done something to this puppet which makes it move differently to what I'm used to, which feels a bit odd, but hey. Okay, so here's our door. It's an ordinary door. Now, I don't want to confuse people in thinking that you have to have a doorway when you are placing a doorway gadget. You don't. Doorway gadgets can be activated from a variety of things, from trigger zones, from button presses, from timers, you can put them in a timeline and it can activate from there. There is a myriad of ways that you can power on a doorway gadget. It does not physically need a door. Right. So let's put a doorway gadget in, shall we? Now then, we go into gameplay gear, grab our doorway, stick it in the microchip for the door. Now we have two options here. We can activate the doorway as soon as the door is opened, or we can activate the doorway when they actually walk through. Now there's some things you need to know for each method. So if we was to do the simple method, detected doorway, we don't want the doorway to activate as soon as the player gets into the zone, because we want to see the door open. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put a little bit of a fade on that door, a little bit extra time before it actually activates the doorway gadget. Now let's see what happens. There we go. There's a little pause. The door opened and then the doorway linked, which is great, but I think I want him to walk through. So let's delete that wire and we'll just put in another trigger zone. Or, we could copy that one, which is even better. Copy that one and then just move it. There we go. Make sure it's beyond the door. Done. Detected. Doorway. Now let's see what happens. Okay, the door opens, but the doorway is not activated. So I walk through the door and we triggered a doorway. Now, for those of you from early access, you'll notice that is completely different to what we had before. Before it would go to the save, don't save page. Now it doesn't do that, which is good. We don't really want that doing that. He's leaning, isn't he? Why is he leaning? There we go. That's a bit better. Right, okay. So there is our doorway with a doorway link. And now, if I was to just play this scene or put this in a dream, it would just end the game because I've got no... I've not specified where this is going. I'm not linking this to any other scene. It will just stop the game and you'll go to the menu where people can vote for it and put it in collections and things like that. So that's what that's doing. Now I'm going to name my doorway. It's always a good idea to name the gadgets. I'm going to name this doorway Scene 2 because this is where this doorway is going to lead me to Scene 2. So that's what I'm going to do. Scene 2. That's where it's going to go. So we better create a Scene 2. So we'll save this. This is going to be our scene. Game. Scene 1. Okay, so now we're going to make it nice and easy for ourselves. We are just going to go to Scene 2 and remix it. This is now Scene 2. We've got a doorway exactly the same and our player exactly the same. No, I don't want to do that. Right, so now we're going to create Scene 2. So, new scene. I'm going to make this look completely different so we know which is which. So I'm going to just tint the floor a different colour. And a tree or two in. There we go. So there's our new scene. And we'll save that as a scene. Game. This is now scene 2. So we go, we've got scene 1 and scene 2. So now we're going to create a dream to put them in. So we go search and we find scene 1 and pop it in. Now immediately you can see our scene has got 2 doors on it. It's got an entrance door and our scene 2 door that we named. That is because every time you place any scene in here, it's going to create an entrance door for you automatically. So you don't actually need to put an entrance door in every time, especially if you've only got entrance and exit doors in your level. I'll show you why you might need to put one down in a minute. So we're now going to search for scene 2, pop that in. Now, if you remember, we just made that a completely empty scene with just some trees in. There was no doors in there at all, and there is our new door. So what we're going to do is we're going to go scene 2 and we're going to wire it to our scene 2. So now we have a linked scene. Let's save it. Whoops, link dream. There we go. So I've saved that. Now, some of you that from early access will know that during early access you could not see this working unless these were all launched. But now you can do it locally, which is excellent. So you can see all of this working without needing to launch anything up, which is very, very good. Right, so we got our dream. Let's play it and see what happens. So I possess my character. I open the door. Activates the doorway. There we go, we're in scene 2. But where's my player? There's my imp, but where's my player? Now, this might be the first confusing thing. Players do not pass between dreams. Level linking does not take your player and walk him into the next dream. In order to have the same player in both scenes, you need to actually physically put the player in the scene. So let's edit this scene. You can do it from here. Even though we're in a dream, you can actually edit whichever scene you are in, like this. So we need a player. Let's pop one down. Let's put him over here. Right, so now we have a player. So let's save that. Okay, exit. And we're back to our dream. We'll reset progress and press play and see what happens. So I'm going to possess my player. Go to the door. Go through the door. Still haven't got a player. Where's my player? That is because although you saved your scene, you didn't update it inside your dream. So let's go out of here, go into edit, and now you can see this little warning here. There's a little red number 1 next to the update. So if we click on that, you can see there's a rosette over scene 2. It's saying this scene has changed since the last time you played this dream. You saved the dream. Do you want to update? And you've got options to inspect it, so you can have a look at it, see is this the one I want to update to. There is an update now button and there is an auto update. Now this confuses people as well, but for the minute we're just going to update now. So that's sorted now. So I can exit update mode. I can press save on my dream. Exit. Restart. And press play. Possess my puppet. Through the door. Level link. And there we are. But I'm not possessed. Now this is a mistake quite a lot of people make when they level link. it's a very good idea to make sure you've got force possession on your puppet, especially if you've already possessed the puppet earlier and you've got level linking through. It's not good to have your player have to repossess your character just because you've gone to another level. So we're going to edit this. So it's very easy to do. Select the puppet logic, the controller logic, L1 square, the imp page, and click on force possession. Let's save. Exit. Now don't remember, we were in the dream. We've got to edit the dream. There's the update. This time I'm going to click auto update on. It's now updated that object. I'm going to save, exit, restart. I'm sorry that there's a lot of processes that are a little boring and that require me to go through the same thing over and over again, but that's the nature of it, unfortunately. So through the gate, and I'm possessed. I can move my character around, so this is cool. So I now have a character that I don't need to repossess. But we could do with another doorway to be able to get back to the other world, really. So what we want to do now is create a two-way door. So we've created a one-way door that just goes through to one level, and if we had created another door, we could go on to somewhere else and then somewhere else and chain lots and lots and lots of scenes together. But now we're going to put in a doorway that leads us to our next level. So we're going to put, I'm just going to put a trigger zone in this corner. There we go, he's got to run into that. And I'm going to also put in a doorway, just to show you don't actually physically need a door. And you'll see the doorway has a gizmo. This is where he is going to spawn. You want to keep it sort of at pelvis level. So he's gonna spawn here with my doorway. And I've got a two-way door like so. So we'll save that. And I'm going to go into scene 1 and we're going to change our doorway here to a two-way door as well. So like so. Let's just check that. Now that's a bit low, so we're just gonna raise it up a bit. Hopefully, we've got to be very careful with doors that open because it can fling your character across the map. Also, if you've got it too low, you can slide along on his bottom, which is also not good. Right, so hopefully that's okay. It might not be. You might have to fiddle about with the position of the gizmo. It is very temperamental. Right, so that's scene 2 done. Let's go back into our dream. Edit. It's updated object 1 because I put auto update on. But scene 1 hasn't got auto update on, so we'll do that. Now, this is where people get confused. Auto update does not automatically update anything without you doing something. You still got to press the edit button and you still have to press save afterwards. Otherwise the dream is not updated and you do not see the changes. Now, because we've put in a two-way door, do you notice something? We've lost our link to the dream. We've lost our link from the outside world in, and now it doesn't know which level to start with. So if you've got a two-way door in your world, you're going to need to put in scene 1, you're going to need to put an entrance doorway in at the beginning. So let's do that. We'll just save this. It actually doesn't matter where you put it. It really doesn't. So I'm just going to go in here, stick a doorway. Doesn't matter where I put it. Entrance. Done. Doesn't matter where it's pointing. Doesn't matter where it is. Just stick it in there. Right. Link Dream. Edit. There's scene 1 automatically updated. Save. Whoops. So now we've got our entrance door, so we can link that to the first scene, so we know the first scene is now played. Save again. Exit. Restart. Okay. Let's hope we don't go flying around, but we might. Right. Doorway through. Activate. And here we are. Now you notice we didn't appear where the door is. And there we're over here. We didn't appear where the door is. So why is that? Well, that's because there is an extra little step that we have to do. If you just do a two-way door, it doesn't really matter where the position of the gizmos or anything is. It's just not going to do anything, which is a little bit weird, a little bit unlogical, but that's the way it is. So what do? What we have to do is go into the puppet logic, controller logic, controller sensor, and we need to name our controller sensor. This is one of the things that just makes very little sense as to why we need to do this, but that's what we need to do. So we've called it player and saved. And we've got to do the same in scene 2. Whoops, that was the one I wanted. Scene 2, edit. So if you don't do this, you're never going to be coming into the doors, coming in and out of the doors. You're just going to end up spawning wherever the player is at the beginning of the level, which isn't always the best thing. So there we go. I've named it player. Right, this is where I get thrown across the map, but we'll see. Edit. They both updated. Press save. There's an awful lot of saving and redoing. When you're doing these doorways, it is a pain. Right, okay. Here we go. Oh, yeah. And now we wonder why. There we are. This is the problem that you get. I'm being thrown across the map when I come through the door. It's a disaster. Right. So we need to fiddle about with this gizmo. It's because I think the doorway's opening and it's hitting our player. Let's just move it a little bit further over. Hope that does it. It might be a little bit of tweaking required. Scene 2, I think I've got my player. The trigger zone for setting it off and the position of the doorway overlap, so you got to make sure that doesn't happen, otherwise it's just going to go backwards and forwards. There we go, they've moved it. Okay, fingers crossed. Edit. They've updated. I'll save it. I'll exit. I'll redo. And I'll play. Fingers crossed. Okay. There we go. There's a little jumpy thing. I might have the gadget a little bit high, but there we go. It works. So I can go through these two-way doors, and then now they're appearing exactly where the doorway gadget is and not where the player started the level, which is exactly what we want. There we go. Perfect. And there we are. There is level linking for you. I hope that was useful. Like I say, the changing the name of the controller sensor is one of those weird things in Dreams which doesn't make any common sense, but that is what you got to do. And playing about with the gizmos, again, you just have to keep tweaking it until it works correctly. So if it is throwing yourself all over the map or constantly respawning you backwards and forwards, it's because you've got it in slightly the wrong place. And it's very easy to do, as you can see. Get it in the wrong place, very easy to do. So there we are. I hope that was useful for you. I think I've covered everything that you might need to know. The only thing that I haven't really gone into any great detail is the use of the wipes and all of this gubbins. If you go to my doorway gadget tutorial, I explain all of these and all the fancy bits that you can do with the doorway to make your transitions between scenes a little bit more interesting and unique to your game. So you can watch that one next, and then you'll know how to use the doorway gadget. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in your dreams.